how is Adrian doing? Obviously, this is a tough news cycle that I'm sure he's having to see a lot of.
Well, clearly, it wasn't Adrian who brought this issue to the public domain. It was a staffer from Tony Gonzales's office. So Adrian is having to deal with the emotional reality that political fodder is being made of his wife's demise. And so it's clearly troubling for him and his son emotionally.
How old is their son now?
I believe he's 7, going on 8.
Wow. Um, what do you know about when this affair started? Was this something that was widely known about?
The affair was discovered in early June of 2024, and there's evidence that it may have been going on for at least a month based upon staffers' knowledge of their locations being together at some remote cabin on some river. The affair was discovered in early June, and through texts that were observed by Adrian. And so it began there with the conflict between, of course, Adrian and Regina. And then after the discovery, the conflicts became more apparent between Tony and Regina in the workplace.
What was it about those messages that convinced Adrian that this was happening?
Well, when you say it was the messages were the discovery, the confirmation was Regina's admission. And so when Tony goes public in the domain saying to his constituents and to all the world that this is a political hack job by his opponent, what he's doing is calling this beautiful, spirited person that he had an affair with, he's calling her a liar. But certainly, Adrian and Regina would not have split up over innuendo. And this is an admission by Regina that she was having an affair with her boss, Tony Gonzales.
Has Adrian shared with you anything about the nature of those messages between Regina and the congressman?
Well, we've had a forensic download, so I have seen any number of texts and pictures back and forth between them. Adrian is aware of them, but Adrian, because of the emotional impact of reading these things, has not viewed all of these messages with any particular interest other than the acknowledgement that she was having an affair.
Why has Adrian chosen to retain you as this plays out in front of the public eye?
Adrian contacted me in regard to any particular potential litigation issues, any fallout issues resulting from the office place harassment that his wife was enduring. And, but this issue being in the public domain is not Adrian's doing. But I was contacted for the purposes of exploring potential legal remedies on his wife's behalf for the workplace harassment and sexual harassment that she was subjected to.
At this point, do you believe that the allegations of the affair had anything to do with her death when she took her own life last year?
It's clear to me after a thorough investigation forensically and interviewing witnesses that the discovery of the affair put into place a series of events that led to her emotional and personal demise to the degree that being ostracized at work, excluded from the job that she loved, having lost the trust of her husband because of this affair, that all of these things continued to drive her into an emotional despair, which resulted in her engaging in conduct that actually took her own life. The question is, did Tony cause her to kill herself? And it's a very specific question. And I can only tell you that Tony was actively involved in the conduct that caused her to end up hurting herself, not only in manipulating her into an affair, But once the affair was discovered, in the workplace harassment and ostracizing her in the workplace and excluding her from her job, that's why the staff knew exactly what was going on because of the change in her employment status. So yes, the affair, the discovery of the affair, the workplace harassment, all contributed to her mental decline, which again, the point of inception is the affair with Tony Gonzales.
Was there a point where the affair ended? Was it called off at any point?
To my knowledge, after the discovery of the affair in June of 2024, I don't have any record of any continued meetings or contacts. And again, that's the point at which Tony began to distance himself from her in public life and in office life, according to his staffers who have already come forward.
What are the next steps for you and your team as this moves forward?
Well, we're going to explore any potential legal issues, legal remedies. The Congressional Accounting Act specifically deals with congressmen and elected officials who have engaged in workplace harassment or sexual harassment. And there are some remedies available through that. Um, but again, we're here today not because of Adrian. We're here today because one of Tony's own staffers could not take any longer his denial of a relationship that everyone at the office knew was a real affair. And so we're going to continue to explore potentially the sexual harassment and workplace harassment after the discovery of this affair.
Is there anything else you think is important for people to know as they watch this situation in the headlines?
Oh, I think Adrian wants everyone to know that this is not about Tony Gonzales's political career. This is conduct that he engaged in, which caused the death of Adrian's wife, their son's mother, and that she should not get lost in this alleged victimization of Tony Gonzales, because she is the true victim in this case. And Adrian wants people to know that he wants her memory honored. And this has not anything to do with him going after Tony's elected position, because again, we didn't bring this to light. Adrian didn't bring this to light. He's only responding to the media crash because of the allegations made by Tony's own employees. Adrian has known about this affair since June of 2024. You have not seen Adrian go public with one bit of information until the staffer came forward. Adrian's issue is with the constant denial by Tony Gonzales that he had an affair with Regina. It's bothersome to Adrian that Tony is trying to walk away from a situation that he clearly created, had a clear hand in the death of this young lady. And his constant denials are what finally spurred Adrian to say, I am tired of Tony calling my wife a liar, calling me a liar, calling his staffer a liar, when the only liar around is Tony Gonzales. And that's why Adrian has come forward. And that's why Adrian has the emotional angst that he does, because he has to live with this issue now that his wife's death has become a political football between two candidates vying for a political office.